Yesterday's price is not today's price.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of the FOC Top 10 Show. I'm your host, J Dub, the Bad Boy Nerd. I hope everyone has had and is having an excellent Thanksgiving 2024. I am stuffed. I'm stuffed with food. I'm stuffed with drink. I'm stuffed with too many comic books that I bought for this new comic book day this week. It has been great. And I must say, I have an incredible show for you today. This show is ridiculous. Of course, we're going to do this week's FOC top 10 list. And I got to be honest, this week's top 10 list is sick. It is just sick. But before we do that, folks, I got a special treat for you. Every week I do a market update. And basically a market update is when I look at the past performance of the previous FOC list that I've done and we see how they perform in the market, right? Well, something really, really, really particular happened this time. I'm not going to give it away, but this is by far the biggest FOC market update that I've had in the past 4 years. I broke a new record. I shattered a new record. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to get into this week's list. But I got to say, for those of you out there watching live, always appreciate you if you show up live. This will be up there. This list will be there. This list is part of the no FOMO zone because what we do here, FOC, top 10, countdown style. FOC stands for Final Order Cutoff. It's the last date that all the stores can get in their orders. It's the date that you can put your pre-orders in for your store to let them know which books you want to get. Then they shoot them off, and then voila, your books show up magically in about a month or so, and you don't have to fight the crowd. And when a book goes ballistic and it shoots through the roof, and people are wanting $15, $20 because it's hard to find because it's sold out, you ain't got to worry about that shit. Why? Because you watch this show, you follow me on Instagram, and you have all the hot books before they come out. Because, yeah, FOC top 10, baby. That's how we do. No FOMO zone. So let's do this. Let us do this. First of all, new comic book day is every Wednesday. I put out a new FOC list every Thursday live, Friday on Instagram. FOC lists are traditionally turned in Sundays and Mondays. So if you watch this live, you get it Thursday. If you follow me on Instagram, you get my top 10 list on Friday. And then you can put in your orders Friday, Saturday, final days usually Sunday. Cutting it kind of close. That's why I do my show ahead of time. So you got the whole weekend to put your list in. That being said, this week was a pretty big week because one of my FOC top 10 picks that I went pretty heavy on was none other than Spider-Boy 13, which again features the awesome Spider-Girl. But what did I tell you guys? If you follow me, this was pretty easy. I said that the Bagley variant cover, the secret variant, the secret was revealed, featured Hawkette, one of the new champions. So I ended up getting a ton of these covers. And also, if you pre-ordered, you had a good chance of getting one of these cool 1 in 10 design variants. Very cool cover. Love that cover. It's a very awesome cover done by Michael Cho, featuring Spider-Girl. Now, here's the cool thing about this issue. This issue features the origin of the girl, Spider-Girl. It talks about where she gets her power from, why she's so badass, and what her connection is to Bullseye. I'm not going to give a spoiler away because you should read comic books. You should read the books, not just collect them, read them. But I will say, this was an excellent issue. I give it 5 stars. Great issue. Spider-Girl's a great character. She's here to stay. She's here to stay. Awesome character. And honestly, I don't think she's going to remain as a Spider-Girl. When you read her origin story, it's a lot more to her than just Spider-Girl. There's a lot more to this character. So, yeah, she's going to be around for a while. So, if you can, go out and try to find issue of Spider-Boy 11, which is Spider-Boy is one of my favorite series. But if you can, go find issue 11, which features a cameo of her. But if you can also find issue number 12, Spider-Boy number 12 features the full appearance where she makes her full debut. Now, in the market, Spider-Boy 11 is going crazy. All right. And people are going nuts for Spider-Boy 11. Of course, that was one of my FOC top 10 picks. I was like, hey, go get Spider-Boy 11. Great series. Something's happening. No one knew that was going to be the sneak appearance of Spider-Girl. But now, after the fact, speaking of after the fact, if you watched my previous episode, I said it then, I'll say it again because why not? Spectacular Spider-Man number 9 has an amazing debut of a brand new hero that, for whatever reason, is just not on people's radar. I don't see any talking heads. None of the big talking heads online are talking about it. But yeah, it actually debuted a brand new hero, and she's badass. Spectacular Spider-Man 8 and 9. What were some of the cool books that you got this week on New Comic Book Day release? Put it in the comments. Tell me some of the awesome books that you got. This was another one of my FOC picks right here. Absolute Batman, number 1, third print. What do I always say about prints? I love multiple prints that have brand new artwork. That is freaking insane. I love that cover. And as always, if you pre-order a book ahead of time, I just ripped off a sticker, you can get these nice little juicy ratios. This is the Batman number 1, 1 in 25 ratio of the third print. Third print, multiple print ratios are extremely hard to get because a lot of stores don't order enough. But in Absolute Batman's case, they keep selling out. So you can put in pre-orders to get these. I love this cover. If you've read the story, you know the connection with the Gotham Zoo. So this is an excellent, excellent cover, especially a 1 in 25 ratio for a multiple print. Also, one of my FOC picks unlocked this cover for me, which I had no idea until the day before. This is West Coast Avengers. This is the secret 1 per store variant of the new character Blue Boat. I didn't even know about this shit until like a couple days prior, but because I had pre-ordered it from my own FOC top 10 list, one of the stores that I go to threw it in for me. So there it is. I'm just going to keep it bagged, 1 per store. Lottie Dottie, I likes to potty. A lottie dottie. Also, dude, my show, I've talked about Mark Spears Monsters for months, and I had to go ahead and do the damn thing because, again, this is one of my favorite series. Shout out to Mark Spears. I had to do it. I think this is the second print, 1 in 25. I believe it is. Honestly, I'm losing track. I just ordered the shit ahead of time, and then they show up at my door like magic. But yeah, this is why we do this show. Again, let me see some of the books you got for your new comic book day. Show off some of yours. Great issue right there, Venom War number 5, featuring the Gold Venom, the Anti Carnage, which, if you haven't seen by now, folks, spoiler alert, Eddie Brock is going to be the new Carnage. Last but not least, before we get into this insane market update, shout out to my homies at Bird City. Bird City had this ridiculous Biggie Smalls comic. I don't even know what this book is. I just knew it was a Biggie Smalls Notorious B.I.G. cover, so I ordered it. I think it's a tribute comic book, but dude, that's a killer cover. Limited edition, maybe 250, maybe 300 copies. So yeah, shout out to the homies at Bird City. Now, on my FOC top 10, I do not do store exclusives because I only do open orders, which includes ratios. But yeah, me personally, I always order dope ass store exclusives when they are available. All right, folks, let's get into some shit. All right. Before I unveil this week's FOC top 10, we got to do a market update because I was perusing the internet and I saw something very interesting because I also frequent different websites, CBR, Bleeding Cool, comicbook.com, and my homies over at CBSI. Now, when I say my homies, that's very nonchalant. I don't know them, but I know they put out dope shit. Great website, by the way. And they put out a little list called CBSI's Hot 10 List. Now, the CBSI Hot 10 list differentiates from my list because I do an FOC top 10 list 4 weeks in advance, 5 weeks in advance, 6 weeks in advance. I have no insight or no pre knowledge of what's going to be hot. I just put together my list based on my own intuition and my 30 years of collecting comic books, right? Lo and behold, if you did like I did and I did what I did, I went to CBSI and I checked out their Hot 10 list. And look what the friggity I saw on their Hot 10 list. I said, I'll be damned. This is the dopest shit I had ever seen in my life. And I'm going to share it with you and we're going to get into it. CBSI's Hot 10 list was basically my entire FOC list, which I was like, holy shite. Holy Scheiße for my German speaking folks. Like the entire Hot 10 list, save a couple of books. There's only 10 slots. But folks, look at this. 8 of their 10 books literally came from my very own FOC top 10 list. Uncanny X-Men obviously came out like 25 years ago, 274, great cover. Forbidden Planet, I don't even know what the hell that is. That came out whenever. But number 1 through number 10 is like my entire FOC top 10 list. That is sick. And here's what we're going to do. I usually do a market for those who watch my show before I unveil this week's FOC top 10 list. I usually do a market update to show you how the previous books performed. But today we're going to do something real quick. We're going to do something real special. So stay with me. This is your first time. You're like, who is this guy? Why is he talking about blah, blah, blah? For those of you who know me, you know this is what I do. So, that being said, let us delve deeper into CBSI's awesome Hot 10 list. CBSI's Hot 10 list is a list of all the top performing books of the week. So if you start with number 1, as you can see, number 1 is Mark Spears' Monsters number 2. And if you follow me, right? If you follow me, you would have seen my list that had none other than Mark Spears' Nut Monsters #2. Now, you can go ahead and crack a screen open yourself and follow along, boys and girls. So, we're just going to do this really quickly. Also, on CBSI's top 10 list, we had Absolute Batman #1. That was FOC week, September 14th. Crazy enough, that was my #4 pick. In hindsight, that's wild. That Absolute Batman was #4. I don't even want to show you what number 3, 2, and 1 were. It's sick. It's embarrassing. In hindsight, of course, Absolute Batman. Of course, it was #1. Also on CBSI's Hot 10 list, Scarlet Witch #6. Are we surprised? No, because I said right here, what week was that? Scarlet Witch #6 was my #2 pick for the week of October 5. Let's see what #1 was. Okay, Kahori, not bad. But yeah, and I specifically said the 1 in 25 would be a hot seller, of which, of course, I have that. Also on CBSI's top 10 list, none other than Mark Spears' Monsters #1, which was my #10 pick way back in August the 3rd. Also, you could have unlocked the 1 in 25 or the 1 in 20 at that point. So that was one of their top 10 hot 10 lists. Oh, it gets better. Like their entire list was damn near my whole FOC list. It's nuts. It's not bragging if it's true. Also, none other than the DC All in One special, which I picked at #6. Now, here was the thing about this #6 pick. The cool thing about it was I said that every year DC launches some kind of annual relaunch. And I said in my notes, they sometimes sneak in new characters. Again, I had no pre knowledge. All right. I didn't know exactly what. It turns out, as the world found out later, after the fact, all right, after the fact, yeah, the Absolute Universe launched in DC all in one special, all in special. So yeah, everyone's clamoring to get their copy to preserve and get graded or whatever. So yeah, that was also on the hot 10 list. Oh, there's more. This is crazy. It's like it was literally their entire list. It was literally their entire list. Hold on. Here's the other one. Here. This was on their list as well. Um, yeah, the all new Venom variant cover right there. That was my pick #10. I kicked off my top 10 list. The Foreshadow variant. And I said, for what it's worth, this is officially the first cover appearance of all new Venom. So, what we're talking about, wait a minute. Here's a juicy one. Hold on. I think this is the last one. Like I said, my FOC top 10 list was their entire list. And yes, JT, what up, JT? Yeah, this is live, baby. This is live on Thanksgiving. You must have missed the intro when I wished everyone a Thanksgiving. Also, one of my favorite picks, I picked it at #3, Aliens versus Avengers. And what did I say? It's basically a lifetime dream to have the Marvel superheroes versus the aliens. I was a little apprehensive about that $8 price tag, but after the fact, seems to be a drop in the bucket. People really like this book. I think that's all of them. Pretty sure I covered. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I covered the entire list. Yeah, man. That was I do the market updates. I couldn't think of a better way to do a market update than CBSI's entire. Now, there's for those who don't know, a lot of people swear by this list. Okay. A lot of people swear by this list because these guys at CBSI do a wonderful job of tracking market movements. Okay. They keep track of what's selling hot, all of that. But it's after the fact. Okay. It's after the fact. What I do is way before the fact. I put out a top 10 list of FOC. So, you have a chance to order all these books before they come out. Hell yeah, AVA is super dope. Dude, I love that. Dude, Jonathan Hickman knocks that shit out the park. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't seen what happened with Miles Morales on that joint, man, you got to get it. You got to get that second print variant, Miles Morales, with like his anti-alien suit or whatever, killing it. And see, that's the thing. This is what I love about doing this show, especially the FOC show, because it's a way to identify books that might be hot before everyone finds out. Perfect example. Perfect example. I got an example right here. And I think you guys watched me on my other show. Talked about this book. And I was saying that a lot of people are sleeping on this book, but that's their bad. This is perfect. When everyone else is sleeping on a book before it shows up on CBSI's Hot 10, dude, I'll say it again for like the 10th time. A cold-blooded brand new character debuts in Spectacular Spider-Man number 8. Her name is Elementary. Elementary, my dear. She's like the avatar of the Marvel Universe. She has earth, wind, and fire and water. And Miles and Peter train her. She debuts here. And like no one's talking about it. Like everyone's just like, doesn't mean it's not dope. It just means you can go find a copy before it gets hot. So that's what we're all about. And this is what we're going to do. And this is why we're about to do this week's FOC top 10. Are you guys excited? I am too. And I'm also stuffed. I ate a lot of food today. So I'm going to do this show. I'm going to go pass the F out. But here we go. Let's do this. First of all, let's get some music going. There we go. All right. Yeah. This week on J-Dub, the Bad Boy Nerds, FOC top 10. Joe coming in at number 10. So, Papa Duke, shout out to the homie Joe Doolins on Instagram. There's a couple other cats I saw. There's only a few people really tracking on this book. But if you watch my show and follow my list on Instagram, link below, you know that that book is part of the Knights of the Cadillacs series, which is currently being developed by Sony Entertainment. Think Streets of Fire, that classic movie from the 1980s, and Lost Boys. Vampire cults and street gangs. They're building a whole universe around it. Papa Duke is one of the main characters of that universe. He's the leader of the street gang, Knights of Cadillac. They started off as Scout Comics, and then they moved to King Spot. It seems like everybody's going to King Spot nowadays. Mark Spears, without a doubt, is probably the hottest title at King Spot, is Mark Spears Monsters. But King Spot is starting to blow up. So if you want to get in on some of that action, Papa Duke number 1. It's part of that Knights of the Cadillac family being developed by Sony Entertainment. Sony Entertainment, if y'all don't know, comic books lately, they do 360 deals. They're like Mark Miller. You can do a comic book, a graphic novel, a streaming series, and a movie, and studios will buy up those rights. Shout out to the homegirl, Hannah Rose May, the brainchild behind Rogues Gallery and Exorcism at 1600 pen. I think she's going to get that joint option too. I'm just giving y'all my little guesstimation. Coming in at number 9. Speaking of Mark Spears and speaking of monsters, yo, you know what's crazy? I love this movie, Return of the Living Dead. That is a horror cult classic. Never been adapted in comic books. Never been adapted for the past 30 years, 40 years. I'm like, shit, 1985, Carrier 1 is 2024. 40 years this movie came out, like 40 years ago. Never been adapted in comic book. I was shocked to hear that. But American Mythology is doing a comic book. Mark Spears is doing a cover. Mark Spears is hot right now. Anything Mark Spears related, horror related, is hot. Coming in at number 9, we have Mark Spears variant covers. The little guy right there in the little subset, that's DC versus Vampires World War V, number 6, Killer Mark Spears cover. Just that alone got it on my top 10 list because I think people are going to really love that cover. And if you are a horror fan like me, you're kind of surprised but also excited to get Return of the Living Dead in comic book format. So I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of horror and speaking of the holiday season, this shit is nuts. Bruh, Hello Darkness. Hello Darkness, what number is this? Is this number 6? It damn sure is. Hello Darkness, number 6. Dudes, we got Mr. Oz, crazy, bloody holiday version. Who out there is a fan of Terrifier? Who out there saw Terrifier 3? Who out there also agrees that Terrifier 3 just became one of the best Christmas movies ever? Dude, I freaking love Art the Clown. Straight out of the universe of Terrifier 3 is this killer. What's it? Did I put? Oh, I put DNA variant. That is not DNA. That is wrong. No, that's not David Nakayama. That should actually say Mr. Oz. But the holiday variant and the Jenny Frizen. I don't know what shrooms she took. I don't know what she was smoking. But Jenny continued to do more of these because this is ridiculous. So yeah, check out Hello Darkness number 6, the Mr. Oz variant, not the DNA variant. Just tell your local comic shop you want the holiday variant. Trust me, it'll show up. And Jenny Frizen, that might give me nightmares. Dear God. Shit. Come again. At number 1, 2, 3, 4, number 7. I told y'all homies out there. I took a chance and read this book. This shit is hilarious. Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater is so freaking funny. You get a 42-page story, no ads. It's basically Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby versus Godzilla. I don't even know what else to tell you. But in the process, he goes all League of Gentlemen. And he basically recruits all of the fictional characters of that time to fight mother effing Godzilla. It's as crazy as it sounds, but I'm hooked. Also, it's too easy to unlock this 1 in 10 variant. These things sell for like $30. This particular one has like Godzilla versus a Superman type. I think that's going to be hot, folks. Something tells me this is going to be really hot. The 1 in 25s, good luck with that. Those things are off the charts. But the 1 in 10 is easy to get. I already got one pre-ordered. I'm telling you right now. Go ahead, just give it a shot. Read it. Tell me how you like it. Again, it's like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen led by Jay Gatsby versus Godzilla. And it is as stupid but as funny as it sounds. All right, coming in at number 6. Booyah, baby. Look. What if Galactus turned a bunch of different superheroes into his herald? This one is the Moon Knight. So my question is, if the Fist of Khonshu is going to follow Galactus as a herald, does he still have to report to his god? Who's he going to serve, Khonshu or Galactus? It's a very interesting concept, and I think that's going to be the main bulk of the story. these two godlike figures. Well, one's literally a god, and one is basically a god, fighting over this herald. There's a lot of potential with that story, and that puts it at number 6 on my FOC top 10. Oh yeah, that sci-fi homage cover, crazy. All right, folks, it gets better from here. Are you reading The Deaths of Spider-Man? Did you read this week's Deaths of Spider-Man? It was pretty good. The first issue, folks. Let's talk about this real quick. Let me make it small real quick. The first issue is the first appearance of all 8 Scions of Sidorak. All 8 appear here. This is officially their first appearance. If that matters to you, it's in Amazing Spider-Man 61. These have been selling pretty well at the shops. They've been selling out pretty quickly because people are digging Spider-Man working with Emperor Doom and dying versus all these different demons. So these do not stay on the shelf. Just get the main cover. That's the one everyone goes for. Also in this issue, but I don't think I care, Phil Coulson, as you know, is now deaf. So he kind of, I guess, lends a helping hand in the story. It's just fun to watch Peter Parker die. Number 4, it should not be a surprise. Are you reading Absolute Batman? Scott Snyder, at his most Scott Snyder, is killing it. Anyone old enough to remember when Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns first came out? Let me tell you folks something. Dark Knight Returns was dope immediately. It didn't like eventually get hot. It was immediately hot way back in like 86, 87, 88. I was like a 10-year-old kid. I got to tell you, Absolute Batman, it ranks up there with Dark Knight Returns. If you haven't read it, shame on you, man. Shame on you. This shit is dope. And yeah, every issue, there's something new where you go, damn, this really is Batman AF. Yo. Number 3. Oh shit, we got Storm as Cowboy Carter. Yeah, that's the DNA variant. Storm number, which number is this? Number 3? Storm number 4. You definitely want to pre-order the Storm Cowboy Carter variant. David Nakayama, aka DNA, you want to order that right now. Like, tell your store to pull a cover. I think that's going to be a hot cover. I think it's going to sell out. Storm is Cowboy Carter. For those who don't know, Cowboy Carter, obviously Beyonce doing her cowboy stuff. Dude, that's a killer. Man, first of all, you know, as a youth, I always imagined my superheroes in different ways, different formats. Savage Road, all that stuff. I just never thought of Storm and cut off Daisy Dukes and Chaps. I never pictured it that way. I must say, she looks good. She looks good. So yeah, I will be ordering. He's like, yeah, getting a few variants. No shit. Yeah, for real. Me too. Yeah, coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2. If you follow my show, you already know one of my favorite books of all time was 8 Billion Genies. Amazon has picked up the rights. They're going to turn the 8 Billion Genies universe from Charles Soule and Ryan Brown into a multimedia full format movie and possibly an ongoing streaming series. Woo! And they follow up with their new series, Lucky Devils. The Lucky Devils, folks, I read the preview. It is hilarious. First of all, Charles Soule is like the preeminent comic book writer of our time. He does comic books, he does novels, he does screenplays. Charles Soule is that guy. The Lucky Devils is the same creative team behind 8 Billion Genies. They even included a glitter cat. 1 in 25 ratio. Glitter Cat is back. Glitter Cat is back. So, folks, keep a lookout for that. All the covers are great. Frank Miller has a cover, of all people. But again, the main cover is usually going to set off first. There is a preview copy. It's probably sitting at your comic book shop. Talk to the owner, ask him if you can flip through it and check it out. I read it. This is going to be good, folks. This is going to be good, and it comes in at number 2. It would have been number 1, except number 1 is number 1, and number 1 is none other. Booyah! What can you say? Ultimate Wolverine. He debuts in Ultimate Universe Year 1, but this is his official ongoing comic book. First of all, how about Lee Bermejo with that ridiculous 1 in 25 ratio variant? Put your order in with your shop now. I think I actually already ordered this. Shout out to my homie Zach over at Bat City Games and Comics. We did the damn ordering thing. This is going to be big, folks. If you are into the Ultimate Universe, the maker, this is his version of the Winter Soldier, is none other than Wolverine. But they say there's going to be a lot more surprises. I'm looking forward to that. Also, yeah, easily going to sell out. Day one. Everyone's talking about this. So yeah, I had to make it. I had to make it number 1 on my FOC top 10 list. Woo! Man, that's a crazy list. All right, let's go ahead and do this quick countdown wrap up and get out of here. Number 10, Papa Duke, Night of the Cadillacs Universe. Number 9, Mark Spears variant covers. Mark Spears is hot. Everything he touches is gold. Number 8, Hello Darkness, Hello Dark Christmas. Bloody cover. That is not DNA, my bad. It's actually called the Mr. Oz Holiday variant. Put in a pre-order for that. It's like a cover C, I think. But dude, not to be outdone, Jenny Frison just conjured up one of her darkest nightmares and gave it to us. Number 7, Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater is better than you think. And the 1 in 10 ratios are hot. Number 6, What If Galactus Moon Knight? I'm very curious to see the fight over Khonshu and Galactus. 8 Deaths of Spider-Man at number 5. Absolute Batman at number 4. Woo! Woo! First of all, it's Storm versus Sorcerer Supreme Doom. But then she hits us with the Cowboy Carter variant. That's crazy. The same creative team that gave us 8 Billion Genies returns with the Lucky Devils, and I am excited. Number 1 this week, of course, Ultimate Wolverine. It's too easy, folks. Let me kill the music real quick. Kill the music. So yes, folks, thanks for tuning in live if you tuned in live, or you can just rewatch it at your leisure. I'm about to go pass out. I'm stuffed for Thanksgiving dinner, but I told myself I wanted to come holler at you guys. Got the show out. You can get your list. You can put your list out to your shops. Bad Boy Nerd on Instagram. Follow me. The official list goes up on the gram every Friday. You can put your list out. Yeah, there's a couple of more FOC lists before the year's end. Everything now is the date of January 25th, coming out of December, starting off with the New Year's. So, yeah, man, with that being said, appreciate you. Hey, thanks for stopping by, JT. That's the homie right there. He does great stuff on Instagram. Yeah, folks. So I'll see y'all on the gram. This is your homeboy J-Dub signing off.